Hi Scorpio, here's your reading for February 2024. Excuse me. If you want to enter to win a free reading in February on the 22nd, go ahead and put free reading in the comments. You can book a personal with me on my Etsy or join my membership in Patreon and or YouTube to see all the extended versions of the videos that are coming out. Otherwise, thank you for being here, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So I'm feeling some good energies today. We had some weird ones yesterday. You are probably closing out some sort of unconscious cycle, or really just sort of tying the loose ends on an old karmic cycle as this sort of Pluto and Aquarius energy occurs. We have a new moon in Aquarius coming up. So Pluto's going to be going back into Capricorn at some point this year, right? And then moving fully into Aquarius for the next, like, I don't know, 20 years or something. I'm not an astrologer, but I do follow astrologers whose work I really enjoy. So I just feel like this is like the tying up of the loose ends of like a long cycle for you, Scorpio. Ooh, something related to your self-worth, perhaps. Your current energy, right, is the Nine of Pentacles. So you may be like happy and single, just loving life on your own, really in connection with nature, communication with spirit and nature, and just kind of working on whatever it is that you do, like enjoying the fruits of your labor, enjoying the process of your work. Like in the Eight of Pentacles, right, we have somebody who's working, doing the same thing over and over, kind of finding like a meditation about it. And in the Nine of Pentacles, we have like the feminine aspect of that, who's sort of benefiting from the fruits of those labors. What's crossing you right now? Queen of Cups, your compassion. You may, this is you showing up fully in your energy. You may be sort of getting in your own way, just because, I'm not saying this like you're doing it on purpose or anything, more just because like you're such a compassionate person, or you're so like intuitive or like emotionally sensitive, that you may find full enjoyment can be a little bit difficult. Perhaps knowing that it comes at the cost of the sacrifice of others. This is like somebody, this combination is like somebody who is a vegetarian for like ethical reasons, you know, or doesn't want to eat beef because of the amount of water that it takes to like raise a cow, or like have a farm, or something like there's something like socially, a social activist like aspect to this, where you may find it's a little bit difficult to like fully embrace enjoying the material fruits of your labor, because you realize there's a cost. Chocolate comes to mind as well. Like a lot of the people who create chocolate are actually children who are like being exploited. I saw something like that on YouTube the other day. And so you might be like wanting to source things like more ethically. Wow, I didn't mean to pull all of those. They just kind of came out all together. So these are the tools that you're working with. Something has been revealed to you potentially about an injustice. So I saw this thing, I saw this card, the Four of Cups, right, being described as like not feeling emotionally fulfilled or good, but also not taking the steps to do anything about it. This is like you realizing that in a situation where you tried everything, the reason you weren't feeling good was because there was nothing you could do. And this was not like justified on the part of whoever you were dealing with. This could be like a narcissist you were dealing with who like kept moving the bar, right? And you kept like trying to fulfill their needs, and like it just, there is no fulfilling a narcissist's needs, right? And I don't use that word lightly. And I don't think we should either. You know, narcissism is like a psychopathic affliction, and I'm sure that being a narcissist would not be enjoyable. I'm sure it lacks as much enjoyment as it does in both parties, is what I'm trying to say. Not to excuse any narcissistic behavior whatsoever, only that if you've been dealing with this, you now have the tools to recognize it, and not to use that word or term lightly. So the benefit of that is that you could potentially very much be out of a victim mentality if you were dealing with something like that. Just basically learning to see things for what they are, which is not an easy thing to do if you've been in this situation. I just want to pull one clarifier because that's not for everybody, right? Although it is unfortunately common. Fours. I was listening today to something. The fourth house is like home, family, foundation. You may have been dealing with like a Cancer or a Libra, who gave you the tools to like seek justice. This could be like you finding your anger, or your righteous anger is what I'm hearing with the Four of Swords reversed and the Four of Cups reversed. Maybe really admitting to yourself like how you feel about a situation and how you think about a situation. Not sure what it is. We're gonna continue on. What's in your past? I think this might help us to understand. Oh, wow. The Ace of Cups reversed with the Ace of Swords on top. The truth is that if you had a new emotional beginning, somebody was thwarting that for you over and over. That's this Four of Cups reversed, right? Everything you did or everything you tried, every new beginning was like foiled somehow. And this can or could have been you, but it looks to me like somebody was potentially taking advantage of your compassion. Again, you're tying the loose ends on this energy this month. This is an overall reading for the month. So you're tying those loose ends. This is like stuff that you're realizing, that you're taking care of, that you're moving on from. What's this Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups? The Tower reverse. Yeah, it's somebody trying to like the High Priestess. You intuitively know what this is. It's somebody who's been trying to prevent you from being in your power, in your energy. Potentially in Aries. You might have Aries in your chart, which could represent the energies that you were working with within you that were maybe standing in your own way. Again, this could be something like that. But you've realized the truth of this in your past. The truth being potentially that you don't want a new emotional beginning with somebody, with another person, or you don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to like bring towers to people, but you do potentially. Again, this is that sort of social activism thing here. Like you may have realized a difficult truth about the exchange of energy, about living in the world that we do, where like in order to have the conveniences of our lifestyle, there are like unseen sacrifices made by people and processes over which we have no control except as like consumers to choose more wisely, right? And I think maybe this was a hard pill to swallow, and can also be you realizing like you're not going to change the world single-handedly by changing your own choices, but you can make choices that make you feel good. And it might just be as simple and maybe even pithy as that is what I'm hearing. Like, you might feel like this is just not good enough, like as far as your ability to contribute. You might want to even look into some sort of like social, I hesitate to use the word activism. I think it's important to speak up when we can, right? The Ace of Swords can talk about speaking up or writing or like a poetry of witness kind of aspect of this situation that you've witnessed, like just being able to see it and unveil it with your words, with your thoughts. But I mean, it could just very simply be something like volunteering, you know. Although with the Ace of Swords, I'm very much hearing like writing or speaking or using your words. What is the ideal for this situation? Okay, the Eight of Pentacles reversed. This was part of your shorts reading today, and I did shuffle really well. So your shorts reading was like the 10 of Pentacles, the Sun, the Eight of Pentacles reversed, and the Eight of Swords. You may be viewing the work that you need to do. I was thinking about that Eight of Swords as like something that keeps you stuck. Which is keeping you stuck. Or you may be seeing that you're like stuck in a situation where you think there's a lot of work to do and you may not realize like the work is already done. That could talk about the emotional work and the Tower here of like kind of realizing your own complicity in the processes of where you currently stand in your life, as well as what it is that you've learned by witnessing the things that you've witnessed or going through what you've gone through. If this isn't a narcissist, right, this could literally be you understanding that the processes of the society we live in that allow for the conveniences that we have comes from exploitation of someone, something, somewhere. Not the happiest energy, but again, these are tools that you can use. This is a tool you can use specifically if you're writing or speaking or influencing somehow. And from a place of compassion and also standing in your power in the current paradigm, not just understanding your complicity, but also finding some sort of happy medium where like it's okay to be a person who enjoys the material things, you know, like there's some sort of understanding of the yes and instead of the either or the black and white. There's some sort of like overcoming of like dualistic thinking that you're potentially communicating to others in a way where they're receptive, or you already have, just by living as you do. What is this Eight of Pentacles reverse in the ideal for the outcome? Six of Swords moving to calmer waters. Yeah, so in your thoughts, especially, you're wanting to ease your mind. If this was a narcissist, this is you moving away as the ideal, right? Getting out of having to deal with this situation. If this is something you were complicit in that you didn't realize you were complicit in and had to sort of come to terms with, this is you finding a way to like be at peace with that. Finding peace potentially in the solace of other company as well. What is coming towards you? Page of Swords reversed. Oh, okay. Just jumped out. Nine of Wands. Empress. You may be trying to get pregnant or have a child with somebody with the Page of Swords reversed. Maybe you've had difficulty with that in the past. And you're able to, especially with your heart chakra open this month. That's not for everyone, obviously. Just take it as it resonates. Also, I'm seeing the Ace of Swords here, right? This big major truth. And the Page of Swords reversed. Like, it could also be that you're birthing a project that is coming to fruition here. The time is ripe. And it has to do with, like, this wounded warrior energy, putting up your walls or holding your boundaries or your space. 9-9 might be a angel number that you're seeing. Also, 3-6-9. These could be angel numbers that are resonant for this message for you. I'm seeing you in this Empress energy, just nurturing, receiving, being able to receive. I think if you've been in a like an uber compassionate, maybe even hypersensitive space about the processes of our of a materialist society, or like just even like global capitalism itself. I'm hearing Temple Grandin, who was she had autism, yeah, and she was like very sensitive to the plight of cows who were being herded into the slaughterhouses by way of these like funnels that would take them essentially like down a path that would get flooded sometimes, because they would be cow prodded or they would be like hosed to like get them to move. And then these tunnels that are like, I don't even know, causeways, I don't know what you call them, but they would like flood, and then the cows would like slip and fall, and it would be super stressful and like painful for them. And then, you know, when the cow goes to the slaughter and it's all stressed out, the meat is like really tough and it doesn't taste good. It's like you can taste the chemicals of the stress there. But she invented this method of having the cow go where it needed to go by introducing a Coke can to the cow's environment. And because the Coke can was unfamiliar, the cows just avoided it. And so instead of being prodded and like hosed and yelled at and whipped and stuff, they just put Coke cans on these like spinning things, and the cows would just go away from the Coke can. And it was just a really beautiful way to introduce compassion into that process. So you may be inventing something here that introduces compassion into a process that is already taken for granted somehow by a lot of people, and finding a way to just do it better. And that's really beautiful. I have like a really happy like release feeling there. Even it could be in the process of like birth. Recently you had a reading where you might be like a death doula or something. This could be the opposite in a way where you're like a midwife or something, and you're helping to introduce some sort of further compassion into the process of like women who are giving birth. I remember hearing something about how women started giving birth on their backs because King Louis or somebody was just like interested as a voyeur in seeing his wives give birth, and it became like a French aristocratic like bourgeois like what do you call it, like a fad that just stuck around, and that giving birth on our backs as women who are capable and partaking in that is like one of the worst ways to go about it for most people's biology. And so you might be introducing some sort of story like that into your workplace or your environment, or being like a spokesperson who changes, yeah, just like some major process that we totally take for granted as a society, and making a huge difference somehow that way. That's really awesome. What is your attitude towards this situation? Yeah, the devil. You basically are like, this is something that we do without even like thinking about how it affects other people, or something we do that like it's like an escapist tendency, or like maybe even trying to introduce this new invention into this like process, or this new idea into, you know, the culture. Maybe you see it as a risk or something that you fear because, again, it's taken for granted, but you also see it as a major injustice, and something that other people need to maybe also be made aware of, like they're not even aware, right? And so you're bringing truth to the situation to like rout out the devil. You see this as like your devil perhaps as well. It could be something that you struggled with your entire life, or for a long portion of your life, that you've conquered, and now you're able to like write about it or speak about it, or move away from it into a more nurturing place. If this is just you and your family environment, right, with the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles, like just kind of moving to calmer waters in your family environment, cutting out any sort of like unhealthy attachments, codependency, narcissistic abuse, anything like that. This is you moving away from that. Yeah. Okay. How do other people view you in this situation? The Queen of Pentacles reversed. Wow. That's not the best way for other people to view you. Other people may view you in this situation as somebody who's materialistic. Just flat out. And I think that this is part of, if you're speaking out as a social activist or something like that, the devil here might indicate, again, you're in your Nine of Pentacles, like able to enjoy the materialism or the processes of the society or culture in which you live, while also having compassion for the downsides of it. Excuse me, I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off. But in speaking out about this sort of injustice, you're also recognizing that you're complicit in it, and people might call you out as like a hypocrite, which you just need to be ready for if you're gonna step into a role like that, right? Like, there's always gonna be a hater, and there's that idea, right, that if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. Was that a Kobe quote? I think it was. But if you don't have haters, it's like, then you're not doing anything for people to look at or something. Like, there's always going to be somebody who wants to knock you down off your high horse, especially if they're not doing anything to change it. So if there is something that you are working to change and yet you understand you are complicit in it, this could be part of that duality. Your understanding is like a little bit of a necessity in the process. Like, I actually am not going to get into that, I don't think. I was going to talk about, like, the movies and Hollywood and how, like, the Little Rascals and Cabbage Patch Kids were, like, orphans or whatever. And, like, kids in that industry can totally be exploited. But we all, like, watch movies, right? And it's really kind of a nasty business in the music and Hollywood industries, like the movie industries, for kids to be, I think, a part of that. It's really not a I don't know, a fundamentally like nurturing environment for a child. I'm hearing that, is it Billy Joel? No, it's not. That song, Rocket Man. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. Elton John. I think that's who it is. In fact, it's cold as hell. Something like that. So you may realize that you're complicit in this in some way, and you're just accepting the accusations of hypocrisy because everybody's a hypocrite and there's always haters. You've kind of accepted that. Okay, cool. So your hopes and fears of the situation are the Knight of Cups, a love offer, and the Hermit. That's interesting. That's an interesting combination. 999 might definitely be something standing out for you. You might have a Virgo or Earth sign. There's heavy Earth who's part of this process somehow. Or maybe your wish fulfillment. You may even find that your fear is of enjoying being alone. You might really just enjoy being alone. Or you might be alone and fear that you're never going to get like a love offer, especially as you sort of step into this role of nurturer, of empress, of mother, or like caretaker. I heard as well that you might be caring for the elderly. And that if you're in a family dynamic with like narcissists or people who are not very nice, and you're moving to calmer waters, if you're a caretaker for the elderly, or for, say, your parents are elderly, caring for them, people in your family might see you as in it for like the inheritance. Wow. Yeah, this Page of Swords reversed is like people who are watching your every move, trying to like cut you down when you take a misstep. Man. What's the Knight of Cups? The Hermit. Yeah, lots of different readings here. Lots of different people here. Page of Pentacles reversed. A child? Yeah, this could be an inheritance. The Page of Pentacles reversed. Like, you might be a grown child. Perhaps your parents are elderly and you took care of them. They could have even passed. Right here. And the Page of Cups might be, or the Knight of Cups, rather. Could have been an offer that came from your parents. There's something here I'm not seeing. And you may feel that way about the situation when you step into this role. I'm seeing you step into a new role of responsibility, especially for maintaining something about the divine feminine, about your receptivity, about your ability to care, nurture, give. And it has to do with the Queen of Pentacles reversed as the way other people see you. Other people are seeing you as like materialistic or too focused on like resources. And it's possible that you grew up as like a child in a situation where you didn't have enough. And so what you could not be seeing here is like is that you have been focusing too much on material things, but it's not out of a place of being materialistic. It's about that reactivity from having had nothing, you know, like when somebody loses everything with the Eight of Pentacles reversed and Six of Swords, there's this drive to like never be in that space again for some people, and they like overcorrect. So you may have overcorrected a little bit. And it might be time to sort of like nurture your like spirituality or your higher self or your higher purpose, and trust that the universe will provide what needs to be provided here. Similarly, if you're having a child, you may need to make some adjustments in your finances initially, and then in order to create this stability, right? But the Hermit is great here because the Hermit has all of the resources within him that he needs in order to survive in the wilderness, potentially even alone, which is not something that has been historically easy for any human being, let alone even human beings today. Like, I mean, can you imagine walking out your door with nothing but the shirt on your back and being able to provide for yourself? Like, do you know what it is to go without? And here, yes, you do know it is to go without, and you have the resources within you to offer yourself compassion through what might appear to be some tight circumstances, hopefully temporary. What's the outcome? Again, these are your hopes and fears. So the Star, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Your outcome is wish fulfillment, especially after loss or after potentially theft. If you were set to inherit something and you were caring for somebody, that storyline, it may have been kept from you and you just kind of moved on, is what I'm seeing. You were like, whatever, I'm moving on. And people might still talk about you being materialistic even though you got like nothing. And your hopes and fears is like you're going to be alone forever or whatever. You might be hoping for like a love offer from somebody, or somebody who can bring companionship without this like toxic ick that you've been through, again, potentially even for a period of like 9 years or something. And you have wish fulfillment. So that's really lovely. This reading felt like it was kind of all over the place. There was definitely a lot of different stories here for a lot of different people. I would like to clarify precisely what the story is. So I'm going to pull a few cards for that, and then we'll see if we're going to do an extended. So the heart of the matter here. What is the heart of the matter? Marriage, potentially. The Hierophant, established norm. So very much that story about if you're looking at an established norm or process, especially as it relates to like the laws of civilization or how spirituality is translated into our civilization, like belief systems that we take for granted. The heart of the matter is you stepping into a role of like communicating something new into the collective, however small or large that collective is, and being able to withstand potentially some very heavy criticism, especially if you're an academic, like maybe looking at history and seeing that our history as we currently teach it in schools is like not accurate. You could be introducing something like that. Just another example, right? What is the tools? What are the tools that you're working with? Three of Swords reversed. Healing from heartbreak. Or holding on to something because it breaks your heart and working with those swords to convey a truth. What's in your past? This one, what, 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, you had everything. Maybe you had everything taken away from you. The Tower reversed and the Ace of Cups reversed. You may be wanting to right an injustice by speaking a truth about what was taken from you. And it could be like a spiritual inheritance as well with this thing that we take for granted, right? A spiritual inheritance of just being able to like feel comfortable in your own skin with this Nine of Pentacles and that divine feminine as well. Like, I don't want to like bash the patriarchy or anything, but this might be you stepping into some sort of like feminist phase. And you can be a man, right? And a feminist. This could be you kind of understanding that some of the thought processes that we take for granted in our current society undermine women, and moving away from that, especially in the workplace. What is the ideal? The Hanged Man, enlightenment. Yeah, I think gaining your spiritual inheritance, whatever that is, I'm definitely like grounding your spiritual inheritance in reality. The Hanged Man hangs on the tree for 9 days to get the knowledge of the runes. So like what you're looking for in moving to these calmer waters is like, yeah, the tools that you need to be able to communicate some sort of higher truth in the 3D. What's coming towards you with the Empress? Temperance. That's beautiful. So yeah, if this is an artistic project, if you're a poet, like in Poetry of Witness or something like that, or if you're, oh, I'm even hearing like witness protection program. Like if you've been through some stuff, this is you being able to birth that truth, that project, that even a human being into the world. Being able to turn this wounded warrior energy into something beautiful. You might have the help of a Sagittarius. You might have started this in Sagittarius season, which is why the Eight of Pentacles is reversed here. The work's already done. And you're just needing to sort of like, I think, see it from that perspective of being on both sides of the line. You may be very much fearing, again, that hypocrisy accusation. But this is you being able to successfully transmute this energy. The Devil is the Page of Wands. Okay. Maybe kids here. Why there? I think maybe your ideas about okay, so your devil might be like, if you're having a child, you might expect them to become a certain thing or be a certain way or take after you or your counterpart or something. And your devil might be allowing them the space to have their own vital energy, their own individual like personality or something like that. If you're a mother, right, and you've been having these sort of, maybe you're already a mother and you're sort of not trying to impose a personality onto your child that isn't theirs, right? Similarly, I'm hearing, I think Bart was the writer. Bart, I don't know how to freaking speak French. I don't know how to say his name. But he was the writer of the essay, Death of the Author, I believe. And so if you're writing something or creating something and it goes into the world, the devil might be like, how the world is receiving it is not yours to control. That this idea is, it's the seed of an idea, and the way that you communicate it is not always the way that people are going to hear it. There's also, I think this is a common person who I reference in regards to this idea, but Bill Burr in Paper Tiger talks about how, like, when he's when he's telling jokes, what he says is not what people hear. And there's like a really lovely example in his crowd work portion of that special. So Bill Burr's not for everybody. I think he's brilliant. Especially his like latest stuff as he's sort of tempering his anger, right? So you may be expressing something in a way that's like a little bit angry, and it may come off in a way that like pisses people off. And maybe you didn't see it as angry, it's just you've been harboring that for so long that when it comes out, the backlash is a little bit like, yo, you need to like calm this down, even though you're coming from this Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles place, right? What is the Queen of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles reversed as the way other people see you? The King of Pentacles? So, okay, if you're in a family unit, and you're talking about some injustice that occurred in this family unit, other people could see you as like going against your divine counterpart. If you're like a newly birthed feminist who's like moving to calmer waters and gaining the tools to be able to like work in the community somehow, or work on behalf of others, or like help to defend the divine feminine aspect, you may get a lot of backlash from like people who hold more traditional patriarchal values, or feel threatened by that. Especially women and children. If you're working for women and children, which is messed up, right? I don't know why this is coming out, but this is part of the reading. This guy, he's got his eyes closed. He's got his pentacle. He's happy on his throne. Happy, happy, happy. So if you're trying to upset sort of some established norm, for women and children, the accusations that are coming at you, I think it will be important to realize are coming from people who are comfortable with the way that things are. And if that's your devil, like the way that things are is your devil, or it's devil energy, then obviously people who are comfortable with the way things are not going to give you good praise, even if your work is beautiful. So when and if you are accused of this hypocrisy or this materialism or self-interest or whatever it is, or like you need to learn more, you're not learned enough to be introducing this new concept into the academic community, remember who those accusations are coming from, and remember who you are defending in creating this project, because it's beautiful. And it's definitely for, I'm seeing women and children. You have 3 pages here and a lot of, again, divine feminine energy. The hopes and fears is the Hermit and the Knight of Cups, Death, and the 3 of Wands. So I think the hopes and fears is that you'll be waiting for your ships to come in like the rest of your life. And whatever that is for you. I think you're afraid that if you create this project or birth this thing or stand up for this, that you'll never see the end of it, whatever that means to you. You may also very much be afraid of standing in your own power. And that's okay. I think if you're in a place in your life where your biggest fear is facing yourself, right? It's kind of like the biggest fear is fear itself. That's a pretty powerful place to be. You're not afraid of like imposition of like judgment from the outside. Like you overcome that. Your fear is like, what am I capable of? And is it good necessarily? You know, like, is bringing an end to this process like a good thing to do? I'm seeing that Apple commercial from the 90s where all these people are like hypnotized by the Macintosh Apple and like jumping off a cliff. And like you're the person going in the opposite direction. And like you feel crazy because you're not going with the flow. But you're the only person who's not hypnotized. So maybe you need to listen to that song by System of a Down, Hypnotize. A lot of messages coming through today. But you have something to offer that is like very important. And this scares you, I think. Like being the kind of person who can offer something that's important scares you. I think you'd maybe rather just be on your own in your own energy. And so your fear is giving this cup to the world and seeing what happens, essentially. Coming into your own power. Wish fulfillment. 7 of Pentacles reversed is an interesting card to clarify your wish fulfillment. 10 of Swords with the 10 of Wands reversed. Closing out a cycle of communicating this truth. Also death, really coming into your own power. 10-10 might be some numbers that you're seeing, angel numbers that you're seeing. Releasing your burdens and releasing your expectation of what is to come is part of this process, part of the wish fulfillment of this process. I think that not communicating this is hurting you more at this point than just communicating it and getting it out there. And whatever comes, it's like part of your wish fulfillment is like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to like carry that burden anymore. Thank God I don't have to be like waiting to see what happens. It's like you've finally done it. And you're laying it to rest. What's the outcome? One more card. 45, 26. Queen of Wands reversed. Nope. 7 of Wands reversed. 9 of Cups. The Queen of Wands reversed can talk about black magic or like somebody who moves against you in a way that's like underhanded. Somebody who gossips about your reputation, about your abilities. The 7 of Wands reversed is you giving up your position. And the 9 of Cups is you being able to enjoy emotionally and be fulfilled, especially in your own energy. 999 again. Two of Pentacles reversed. Something's out of balance. The Magician, the Emperor, the Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Wands all reversed. So there's something here in the end result of this where King and Queen of Wands reversed. I think you are offered a perspective from the opposing side that is one you never considered. Oh, okay. Similarly, if you were afraid you were going to be alone for the rest of your life or something, this is somebody seeing your perspective once you finally speak it or birth it or create it. This is you showing up in your power, and this person shows up as a result because they've been manifesting you. They've been working on themselves to come into their Emperor energy. So this is almost like as you're working on fulfilling you, somebody else is working on fulfilling them. And like the circumstances meet up perfectly so that whatever it is you're creating, if there's something missing from it or it needs some sort of circumstances in which to be birthed, this is the like counterpart of that energy showing up at exactly the right time, with the star here, like in divine timing. Sorry, I had to pull a whole bunch of cards to figure out what that meant. And you may be receiving, like, again, like giving up your position or your defensiveness in an energy of receiving. You may come into an energy of receiving and being able to receive that allows this divine counterpart or this like mirroring situation that facilitates this birth or something, facilitates the creation of this project, maybe even like funds it at exactly the right time. Okay, cool. I'll pull one oracle card to close out this reading for you, Scorpios. And then we'll end it here. Okay. Feeling one of the mystical shaman oracle cards. So February is like it can be a really tough month for people. Just, it's like kind of right before the spring starts to bloom, right? I always look for the birds in February because it gets just so gloomy, especially in Washington where I was at last year. February just gets super dark and dreary, and it can just drag on, even though it's the shortest month. So there's something about, with that Nine of Pentacles kind of at the heart of your energy here, looking for the flow of the seasons, or the birds, the language of the birds. Maybe like something about electromagnetism, right? Because that's kind of how they all tune in with the frequency of the earth to know like when to fly south for the winter. That might be part of this project that you're birthing, or this like collective wisdom you're bringing in. And again, as much resistance as you're gonna face, there's something or someone coming in divine timing to help facilitate that, which is a really awesome outcome. Spirit, one oracle card to end out this reading. The Seer reverse. Yeah, there's something you don't see, and you're not supposed to. This is like a faith base. Oh, and there's a bird here. Look at that. Faith-based sort of movement based on your past experiences. So let's see. Card 45. There's another 9 for you. 9 is definitely significant. It's the card of spiritual enlightenment, completing spiritual processes. It's really a powerful number. So you might look at 999 or 10. The Seer represents the capacity to reach beyond the obvious details of life into the hidden realms where information is available to those with the discernment to perceive it. This symbol represents psychic perception, intuition, and the capacity to know something without prior exposure. The Seer knows truth, always seeks truth beyond all else, and sees reality as it is truly, without judgment. The Seer can read between the lines and understand what is not being said. He represents the power of clarity and being able to recognize patterns. The Seer has arrived now to challenge you to get out of denial and begin telling yourself the truth about your situation. Wishful thinking will not make what you desire happen when you're refusing to see things as they are. The truth may hurt, but it will set you free to claim the bounty that is waiting for you to notice it. This is a moment of true power. The Seer offers you his medicine. When you are ready, surrender your vision to Spirit and ask to be shown the truth, no matter the price. Once you do so, your eyes will open and you will receive a powerful gift. So I think that you're already here because you had the truth in your past energy and you had 9s all over the place, right? So you may be denying that this is where you're at in your process. The mountain lion here is indicative of like a highly powerful, intuitive magic and skill, and also like feminine autonomy, because the mountain lion as a mother, right, she, somewhat like the bear, keeps her cubs away from the masculine, because a masculine mountain lion will like seek to mate with the female, even if she has young cubs, and may even like injure the cubs in order to allow her to like want to procreate. And then the mother will, if she's not ready, she's not ready, and she'll like tell that guy to back off, you know. Similarly, she raises the cubs on her own. So I'm really getting a sense here that you're a masculine, like maybe biologically, like maybe you're a man who's coming into realization of his divine feminine gifts, not only of intuition, but to potentially see into other realms, opening your third eye, realizing the sort of power of vulnerability and receptivity, and like how much emotional fortitude it requires to be able to navigate those realms, and being able to communicate that. If this, again, if you're not a man, it doesn't matter. The energies are for everybody. The rattle reversed. I just wanted to... This reading's going on and on, as my readings generally do. The rattle is the spirit caller carrying the shaman's prayer to the 4 directions. The body of the rattle is like the earth spinning on its axis. With the aid of the rattle, the medicine woman instills a desired destiny in her future, closing with the prayer, "Great Spirit, may your will be done." The rattle guides us to pray for all the earth, not just for our personal needs. When we offer our prayers to the highest good of all, everything we need is provided for us. You want to catch God on the whisper, not on the shout. What you are trying to craft to your own desires and expectations is already there with the Eight of Pentacles reverse, and then you had the Page of Wands here, like trying to craft something to your own desires and expectations. You don't have control over that, right? Do not spin the world to your own benefit. You are being offered the Creator's tools, which must be put to use to serve a divine purpose. So we started the reading out with you stepping out of your own way, Scorpio. This is you stepping out of your own way because you have the faith, first of all, that you've been given these lessons for a reason, for the greatest good of all. And also stepping out of your own way by not trying to control the outcome of the situation. I'm not saying that you're doing so out of a selfish desire or anything like that. That's not what's coming through. It's more like your fear of what you're up against, I think, is maybe blocking you from embracing this gift. And this is you having faith with the Empress that was there, right? That you're being provided for by the universe, these tools, and that there's a reason that this gift has come to you to birth into the world. 3, 4, 5. You may be seeing a lot of synchronicities. The circle. Okay, we're going to end it out with this one. The circle. Excuse me. Unification, interconnectedness, and a sense of continuum is what this card implies. The circle reminds us we are all one, dancers in a unified, continuous, inclusive circle. This card reminds us of the cycles of life and the evolving self, ever-changing and always connected. Human, spirit, nature, the cosmos, all intrinsically connected. When the circle appears, it reminds you that you are connected to everything and everyone, including to spirit. Spirit's essence beats in your heart and inspires you to co-create your world, knowing that you count, that you have purpose in this world. Imagine even a smile to a stranger can change the course of a life. When the circle invites you to dance in the sacred steps of life, know that your work, your love, your service brings greater value than you can know. Stay the course, keep dancing, and all will be well. Yeah, that's major confirmation that what you're bringing into the world needs to be heard, and that whatever your fear is of judgment or persecution, that comes from people who are established and comfortable in an energy of exploitation. There was definitely a lot about the energy of exploitation in this reading, and you going up against that with what it is that you've been through and actively speaking against it with what it is that you're creating. Even if that's just bringing, like, even if that is not just because birthing a child is a major thing, even if that's birthing a child into the world and raising them in a way that is like outside of the narcissistic sort of norm that appears to have been the energy in this reading. Whatever you're doing, Scorpio, it could be like major, and you're just closing up the loose ends of sort of walking through that doorway this month. So if this resonated for you, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Again, you can join my Patreon or YouTube memberships for some extra readings, some extra content, for support. You can donate with a super thanks, and you can purchase a reading with me on Etsy. I have a few options there. If you favorite my shop, there's a 10% discount code that will be sent to you for the hour-long reading. So thank you for being here. I really love and appreciate you all, and I'm going to be here again tomorrow as usual. So thank you.